Welcome. We're here today to talk about something very important, and that's how we use AI tools in this course. Now, the digital landscape of the world is changing fast, so we need a clear understanding of the rules. Now, this isn't about banning technology, it's about defining how we use this tool of AI both responsibly and ethically. Our goal is to ensure that AI enhances your learning and not replace it, because we want to be able to leverage these tools to become better thinkers and writers, but not faster ones. The guide's going to clarify the lines between what using AI is as a helpful assistant and relying on it for you to do your work. And we're going to cover some of the specific ways you can use AI to support your assignments and the clear boundaries that protect the integrity of your education. Now let's start by looking at the core purpose of this course. Now, before we set any rules, we want to talk about why. The goal of this course, and frankly the entire college experience, is to develop critical thinking skills. And we're not here just to memorize facts. We're here to build like an analytical and communication skills that's going to serve you. And the risk with AI is that's going to allow you to outsource a lot of the hard work of critical thinking. And when you ask AI to generate an answer, you get the result, but you skip the process of grappling with the material yourself and coming up with your own ideas. And that struggle of coming up with your own ideas is where the learning is supposed to happen. And it's kind of like asking a calculator to understand the calculus process. And you'll end up getting an answer, but you won't acquire that skill, that long process of going through that calculus equation. That skill will be lost. And that's the danger of AI when it comes to education, is you're losing those ability to take information, synthesize it, and critically think. So we need to protect that process of critical thinking, and so we have to ask ourselves, where do we draw the line? And so what we've done is established, that, well, we're here to critically think. We've established that. But we're going to look at the practical guidelines that support the goal of critical thinking. Now, here we've divided AI into two categories: the acceptable use, where AI is a tool of support, and unacceptable use, where AI acts as a replacement for your own effort, your own critical thinking. Now, AI is actually supposed to be a powerful assistant, not a substitute for you as a student, because that's what it is going to be if you use it in unacceptable ways. AI is the student and not you. So acceptable uses, they include things like brainstorming, improving your writing, essentially using AI to polish and refine your own ideas. Unacceptable uses involve any action that replaces your critical thinking, your intellectual contribution. Now, this is actually a form of plagiarism, and because you're having AI generate the core argument, the core content of your assignment. And we need to be clear, very clear, on this distinction between using it as an assistant and it becoming you, the student. We need to be really clear about this. And so we're going to dig a little deeper into each of these two categories, and we're going to talk about the acceptable use. And we're going to focus on how it can be an actual tool to enhance your work. Now, you can absolutely use it as brainstorming to generate initial ideas, explore potential topics, or create a rough outline for an essay. But remember, you have to be the one to write the entire argument yourself and not have AI generate an argument for you. Now, AI can also be a good tutor. If you're stuck on some kind of concept from the reading, you can ask AI to explain it in a different way to provide clarifying examples. And if this helps you understand the material better, that's an acceptable use. And once you've written a draft of an essay, you can use AI to improve your writing. You can check your grammar, style, sentence structure. You can also use it to find sources, but you must locate, read, and analyze those sources yourself. And that's key, is that AI is there to support that process. It doesn't create the final product. And it's the same thing as picking up a book. You have to be the one to read it. You have to be the one to open it up. And AI can show you where there are books on the topic, writers, articles, but you have to read those articles. You have to critically think about them. And you are one who's going to have to respond in written form. And those responses have to come from you and not AI. Now let's talk about some of the unacceptable uses. And this is where we draw the line pretty firm. AI cannot be a replacement for your own work. And plagiarism, and that's the most serious violation when it comes to misuse of AI. And copying, pasting AI generated text directly onto your assignment is academic misconduct. And all the written work that you submit, it has to be your own writing. You cannot just use AI to replace course materials that are supposed to be coming from your own words. And you'll see that a lot with instructors, not just my class, but other classes, is they'll directly say, with your own words, what are your thoughts? And when we do that as instructors, we're asking you directly not to use AI, but to have your own thoughts. You can't use AI to replace course materials. You can't ask AI to summarize an assigned reading or lectures instead of engaging with them yourself. You can't copy and paste a whole chapter onto AI and ask them to do an assignment for you, respond, or anything of the sort. That's replacing course materials. And that pretty much defeats the purpose of the course. So generating content like that is unacceptable. Having AI write entire paragraphs, essays, or answers to assignment questions is not learning, and you have to do that yourself. Excuse me. And be careful about falsifying research. Don't use AI generated summaries of sources you haven't read. And like I said, you have to actually read the books, the articles. You have to actually read them. Never cite a source that the AI has invented. These are called hallucinations. You have hallucinated. Bottom line is we have to be transparent about how we use these tools. Again, to reinforce, the critical thinking has to come from you. Now, we've talked about acceptable uses and unacceptable uses. Now we're going to focus on how to be transparent when you do use it appropriately. Now, the key is that AI is a tool, not a source of truth. Okay? And this is going to be emphasized in how we cite also. So in other words, you should never cite AI for factual information. And the reason why is because models are constantly changing and you can't verify the output against a stable, published article, book that has been peer reviewed. Again, AI can present peer reviewed materials, published materials to you, but you have to read those materials. Instead, you have to use AI to help you find those materials, those primary sources, those secondary sources. And again, you have to read them. And you have to be upfront about the fact that you used AI to find them. And that's transparency it's crucial for you to be an academically honest student. If you use AI for brainstorming or outlining, you have to acknowledge that you used it as an assistant. And this shows you're reflecting on your learning process and you're being honest. So we're going to talk about how to actually source AI. And this slide, it gives you the details and the specifics of this requirement. It's called AI usage statement. And it's not a long one. The one on the right, they give you an example. And it's brief. It requires addition to the end of your submission of whatever essay, written work that you used AI to assist you. And of course, acceptable uses. And there are 3 things you have to include in your statement. First, you need to identify the specific tool you use. It could be ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Manus. And explain the use. Did you use it to brainstorm arguments? Did you use it to simplify a complex definition? And we want you to be pretty precise about this. And then, third, you must include the prompt. And this you can copy and paste from the search button that's in the engine itself. You can copy and paste it, but it's got to be part of your statement. In fact, it's best to copy and paste exactly what it was. And this allows myself as an instructor to understand how you use the tool and if you used it properly. It's not very long, it's quick, and it's very honest. And this isn't about getting permission, but it's about demonstrating that you're transparent, that you're demonstrating integrity as a student. And this is kind of the new guidelines for our modern times. Okay. Now, in this entire policy, it boils down to a commitment to integrity. And our goal as a college is to give you the skills to think critically, engage in critical thought, and understand the world around you. And we want you to be the master of that learning. And AI is a powerful tool, but we must use it in a way that advances the core goal of critical thinking, and it doesn't undermine it, actually. So I ask you, don't let this convenience of AI replace your critical thinking skills, your hard work of learning, wrestling with ideas yourself, and coming to your own conclusions. Because that hard work builds a true understanding and builds true expertise. And so we're going to encourage you to use these tools, but use them responsibly and be transparent about how you use them. And so, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm always open to questions, suggestions, and ideas. So, thank you for listening.